Begin in Edo State, where the state government revealed that 6 out of the 31 persons abducted by kidnappers on Saturday at the Ikekhen train station have been rescued. This was announced by the State Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Osa Nehikhare, at a press conference at Benin City, the Edo State capital. According to the commissioner, the 6 persons are a 65-year-old man, a nursing mother with a baby, a 6-year-old girl, and 2 siblings aged 2 and 5 years old. Meanwhile, the coordinator of the Warri Takwe train service, Sani Abducted, also confirmed that none of the kidnapped passengers sustained any bullet injuries. He gave the confirmation while receiving the Minister of State for Transport, Ademola Adegoroye, in company of the chairman, Nigeria Railway Corporation, Fidet Ohiria, at the Tomikimi rail station in Igweben local government area of Edo State following the attack on the train station on Saturday. The visit of the minister to the scene of the incident is on a fact-finding mission and to ascertain the situation himself concerning the attack and subsequent abduction of passengers. Lagos residents today woke up with the news that Ojota area of the state has been taken over by crisis, leading to arson and loss of life. Senior correspondent Ivy Kanu followed up with this story and returned with this report.
Broken bottles, burnt tires were evident at the scene earlier in the day. According to reports, the crisis started as police officers from the Lagos Police Command tried to disperse Yoruba Nation agitators. Though calm has been restored, there is heavy presence of security agents with their vehicle strategically positioned. It's been difficult getting those in the area to volunteer information, as most claimed they weren't around when the incident occurred. Speaking earlier on TVC News, the police public relations officer gives more insight on the crisis.
If it was a procession that wasn't disrupting flow of traffic, then of course we would be there to provide security for them. But these were clearly people armed with pump action rifles. And even before the police got there, they were already shooting in the air and they were already scaring people. So we received numerous calls from people saying some people were shooting sporadically. So definitely, those are not the kind of people you want to provide security for. These are the kind of people you need to disperse and get arrested. And Lagosians in general will be fiercely resisted, and such people will be decisively dealt with in accordance with the provisions of the law.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, CP Abiodun Alabi, has issued a stern warning that anyone or group of persons found disturbing the peace of the state will be dealt with in accordance with the provisions of the law. Part of the statement reads, though the command is not averse to people's right to freedom of assembly and association and expression, the command will equally live up to its mandate of ensuring that no person or group of persons is allowed to infringe on the fundamental human rights of others. Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
Elsewhere, the federal government says it has secured funding for the rehabilitation of 3 existing refineries to enhance the country's domestic refining capacity. Minister of State for Petroleum Timi Peresiva disclosed this while giving a breakdown of his ministry's achievements at the 16th edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Media Series in Abuja. Tijesu Adeoye reports.
The President Muhammadu Buhari Scorecard Media Series resumes with a spotlight on the Ministry of Petroleum. The Minister of State takes the stage to present his scorecard, highlighting 9 priority areas for the oil and gas sector. Some of the strategic priorities is to eradicate the smuggling of PMS across Nigeria's borders, completion of its gas flare commercialization program, poverty eradication, amongst others. The minister says though the government does not have powers to control the market forces in determining the price of PMS, it has secured funding to rehabilitate the country's existing refineries. He says this development will help reduce the price of PMS and increase accessibility to the product.
What is desirable, as far as we are concerned, is to ensure that petroleum price is market-driven. That way it will also drive a lot of investments. There are a lot of people who would like to invest, private sector investors who would like to invest in this sector. But under a subsidized regime, who is going to invest? If you build a refinery, how is your refinery going to make profit? Under a subsidy regime. But if you have a market-driven situation, you see that a lot of investors will come, and of course there will be more refineries, and this problem of access to petroleum product will be a thing of the past.
Minister of Information and Culture says the Buhari administration has recorded unprecedented achievements in every sector and has set the country on the path of achieving self-sufficiency.
We dare any part of this country to say that it has not benefited from the programs of the Buhari administration in one way or another. And we will happily counter that with verifiable evidence.
Despite heavy knocks from critics on the performance of the Buhari administration, the federal government insists President Muhammadu Buhari would leave behind a solid legacy of infrastructure development and social development programs that cannot be erased. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Oil and gas expert Bala Zakar joins us on the news for more on that development. Mr. Zakar, the federal government is projecting that by the first quarter of next year, the country would have put an end to the importation of a petrol product. The projection is based on the rehabilitation of the 65,000 barrel per day capacity in Port Harcourt and the Dangote refinery. How optimistic are these projections?
Okay, you are not audible enough, but this is what I have to say. Ordinarily, if refining were not to be a good business, why are other countries refining and we go there to import? That is the first question. So it shows that refining is an excellent business. Then the next thing I want to say is this. One of the best legacies that this government will leave behind for people like me is the fact that this government will make sure the existing Nigerian refineries are maintained or the rehabilitation starts. Because once we start having internal refining, the first thing that will do is this. It will conserve and save foreign exchange. Even if we are saving 10 naira per liter by refining internally, multiply that by the 70 million that we are importing every day. Multiply the savings by 1 week. Multiply the savings by 1 month. Multiply the savings by 1 year. That will tell you how much we are going to be making.
Mr. Zakar, are you still there?
Yes.
All right. So you sound optimistic about government's projection about this rehabilitation, but some would wonder why it's taken this long.
Make it very clear to you. Subsidy removal will never help us as long as we depend on imports. Because we are a country of about 200 million citizens. One thing about deregulation is the price will keep rising. And so long as we keep importing and we rely on imports with weak currency, the price will never come down. But if we start refining internally, we are going to save from the cost of vessels. We are going to save from the cost of insurance. We are going to save from the cost of security and ancillary costs associated with refining. And at the end of the day, it's going to be better for the country.
But that's not going to happen in the next couple of months, will it?
It doesn't matter. People said this about 5 years ago, that it's not going to happen. That was how we have been delaying. The key thing is let us start. Because the journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with a single step. Let this government start it. And just the way we are insisting that nothing will stop us from having election in 2023. After the elections are come and go, let us start insisting that nothing must stop Nigerians from having functional state-owned refineries. Because private-owned refineries are after profit maximization. They are not after the betterment of Nigeria. They are after profit maximization. It's only government that must take care of citizens and provide goods and services.
Oil and gas expert Bala Zakar, live for us on TVC News at 10. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.